Hi, in today's video I'm going to be taking a look at enabling nvenc encoding on OBS Studio running on freebsd 14. And you can see from this screenshot the video encoders that I have enabled, and the reason I'm showing you a screenshot is because when you're recording with OBS Studio you can't change the video encoder drop down menu. So you can see here under the recording tab we have SVT AVI, AOM AVI, Nvidia nvenc H.264 FFmpeg, Nvidia nvenc HEVEC FFmpeg, FFmpeg VAPI H.264, FFmpeg VAPI HEVEC and X264, which I believe is the software encoder. So what I'm going to do is actually switch across to this commit message about the libc-shim package, and this is the little typo that we need to fix. And basically what happened is this commit message wasn't ready in time for the last quarterly release of packages. I'm running FreeBSD 14 P3, so this commit didn't make that package release date, so this should be fixed in the next quarterly release. But until then, what we're going to do is temporarily fix it. As you can see, there is just one change that needs to be made on line 27, and that is changing user to lib. So what I'm going to do is actually go through, show you how to fix that and get nvenc encoding set up on OBS Studio on FreeBSD. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to give write access to the with-glibc-shim file, and we do that with sudo changemod +w user local bin with-glibc-shim, and that's because by default it's read only, so you won't be able to edit it. We're then going to edit that file and change that line. So if I come across to the terminal here, and we come down to line 27, and you can see this is the change that we need to make. We need to change this line here, user librt.so1 to librt.so1. So from user to lib, that's it. So you can see I've already applied the change there, so we just exit. Now the next thing is actually running OBS Studio. So what we're actually doing is we're using LD libmap, and what this is doing is it's going to take the output from nv-sglrun, which I believe is installed with the libc-shim package. I may be wrong, but if we take this bit of code here and to there, copy that, come across to the terminal, what you'll see is it's actually printing out a list of libraries here and the actual path they resolve to, and the one that was actually causing the error was this bsd-librt.so.1. Before the fix it was pointing to user librt.so1, and now after the fix it's pointing to librt.so1. So when it was pointing to user librt.so1, I kept getting a file not found error message. So that was the error that was actually causing the problem. So what you can actually do is run OBS Studio with this command, where what it does is uses LD libmap and takes the output of this, and it can then basically find the libraries needed for nvenc encoding. Now what I'm going to do is show you Nvidia-smi. So Nvidia-smi, what you'll see up here is Nvidia-smi 535, driver version 535, Cuda version not available, and processes OBS Studio running down here. So you can see Cuda's not showing up. However, if you run nv-sglrun, Nvidia-smi, you'll see that Cuda now is showing up. So this is basically allowing it to running it with this command here is actually allowing it to find Cuda. So next thing is, we don't want to have to run this bit of code every time we launch OBS. We don't want to have to run OBS from the terminal like that and constantly have to paste something in. So what we can do is actually create a desktop launcher with that code inside it. So this it's a desktop entry that will show up in your desktop launcher, whether that's, you know, GNOME or Rofi or Tofi. There's a good one if you're on Wayland, TOFI. That's what I'm using. So in the exec line, we put in this bit of code. So what we need to do is we run cp user local share applications com.obsproject.Studio.desktop, copy it to local share applications. So that's cp user local share applications com.obsproject.Studio.desktop /.local share applications. Once we've done that, what we're going to do is actually modify it. So local share applications, and we're going to put in that bit of code. So you can see here this exec line, we've just basically put in the bit of code that we're actually running on the terminal. So that will get the desktop launcher set up, so that OBS Studio will be launched without having to use the command line. Another thing just to mention is when you're running OBS Studio, you actually have to start Pulse Audio beforehand, because OBS Studio uses Pulse Audio on FreeBSD. Okay, so these are the packages you need: Nvidia driver, Linux nvidia-smi-6-shim, and these couple here, lib Nvidia driver. And what I've got here is actually my notes on setting up FreeBSD 14 with Wayland using Wayfire on a MacBook Air 2011 and a Dell XPS 15 with a GTK 1650 graphics card, I think it is. Here are my root config files, and the thing you need in your rc.conf is this KLD list of Nvidia mode set, Nvidia DRM, Linux 64, i195 KMS, EX2 FS is actually for mounting Linux drives, and you need Linux enabled down here as well. So I'll put links to all this under the video. I hope that helps you get set up with Nvidia nvenc encoding on OBS Studio on FreeBSD 14. And it said this is the git commit message where we're just changing user to lib, and again this should be pushed in the next quarterly package update, I believe, but it didn't make the last one, unfortunately. So those are the steps we took to get this working. Once we got all the packages and everything installed, change mod with glibc-shim, edit it, change line 27 from user to lib, run OBS on the command line like that, and create a desktop launcher with the code in it down here. So what I'll do is I'll stick links to all this under the video, but what I'm going to do now is just switch across to OBS Studio here, and what you'll see is it's down here I've got 3 different scenes. I've got laptop, monitor and FFmpeg. Laptops for the laptop screen, monitors for the monitor, and FFmpeg is a media scene, a media source, where I have put in a path to temp relay, which is actually a pipe. And I've shown you this in a previous video, where instead of having multiple media sources, you can have one media source with a pipe, and then use FFmpeg on the command line to pipe videos into that pipe, into the media source, and into OBS Studio. And I've got 2 scripts, relay and relay local. And what they do is they allow you to specify a range in the video to pipe into OBS, say 1 minute to 2 minutes or whatever. And the remote version also works with yeti, so that you can actually take a YouTube video and pipe that into OBS Studio with FFmpeg, and additionally, as I said, specify a range in the video you want. So if you just want to capture a clip from a YouTube video, pipe it into OBS, that's possible. So you might want to check out that scene. So what I'll do now is finish off with a Christmas message from St James's Park, from the Magpie Channel TV, of the crowd serenading Jason Tyndall. So what I'm going to do is switch across here, and